to do it twice.
Yeah, don't know why.
The second time usually always works better.
Hopefully. So we're back.
Have you tried shutting it off and turning it on again?
I tried it. Yeah.
Nice.
It is working. Hey, second time's a charm always. I don't know how we need to make this just
work the first time?
Yeah.
Like every time?
Anyway,
60% of the time it works.
if you were with us before and the stream dropped out, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Just
a lot of
watch
people
it again.
shared it. Oh, well. We're here. We're back. It seems to be working now, Jerry.
It looks that way.
Happy Veterans Day.
Hey,
we had
thanks.
this conversation already.
Yes.
It's Veterans Day today. We had a whole discussion about how it's weird that some people say veterans and some people say veterans.
Veterans. What does everybody say? Because I've never said veterans before.
No. It sounds very down-home, folksy. Oh,
It
those
does.
veterans over there.
Oh, look at the veteran. Look at that little veteran over there.
They're a veteran.
Nobody says that.
Golden veterans.
Gosh darn veterans over there.
No, veterans.
No, veterans.
So,
It is Veterans Day. It's my day.
Thank you.
I
It's your
get
day.
one
You
a
get
day.
One day. And Father's Day.
Sometimes I get that day. A lot of times I'm like working or doing something.
Yeah.
I don't get the day off for Father's Day. Is that during the week or is that always a Saturday? No, that's always like a Saturday, Sunday thing, isn't it?
I have no idea. Isn't it? Is it? It's always on a Sunday.
It's like always the something Sunday
like
of
Solomon
a month.
Grundy.
Yes,
Born on a Sunday. Or
born
Monday.
on a Monday, died on a Tuesday.
Resurrected on a
on a
Wednesday.
Ate fish on a Friday.
I don't know.
It's Catholic. That's why.
Dirk's with us. He says we're killing him. Well, we're back.
Oh, we're killing it, huh?
Yeah.
Nice. I'm
Dirk,
trying.
you got nothing better to do anyway, right now.
Killing me, Smalls. Oh, I get it. That's from a movie.
Yeah.
That's a movie
Craig
quote.
says Marine Corps birthday is my other birthday. My daughter gets her birthday today.
Nice. Where did that sound come from?
I don't know.
You get that? You get like a notification, right?
I don't know where that sound came from. So,
Oh, I thought you got like a little blinky thing. And don't we get like prizes that show up if people give us prizes
yeah. Yes, there
On
can be
the-
prizes.
on the video feed? That's nice. Somebody give me a prize for Veterans Day.
Veterans Day.
You're
So,
welcome, Dirk. I did it all for you, buddy.
Thank you for your service. Moving on. Issue number 2.
Okay.
It's
Issue.
almost Snarf Talk 150. We're 4
We
away.
are. We should
from
get a cake.
Episode 150. We are 100% getting a cake.
Every milestone when it was 50, 75, 100, 125, we've always said we're going to get a cake.
We're getting a cake.
Actually, I don't even think we noticed 125. It just kind of passed, went through.
No, I'm pretty sure we must have talked about it.
And then, but yeah, we're 4 episodes away, so a month away from 150 episodes. So that'll put us right before Christmas,
Perfect.
right? Right at Christmas time, we could have a Christmas
Let's
extravaganza.
have a gift exchange,
That's a good idea.
and we'll get 2 guests on.
We need to write this down.
We will get our 2 most requested guests on.
I hope if they agree. We've got a lot of people.
No, we're asking our listeners right
Okay.
now. Between now and then 2 episodes from now,
So,
So,
episode 148.
by the end of or early December or mid-December,
Yeah.
you need to get a hold of us and tell us who your preference is for the 2 of your favorite guests, and that you cannot vote for yourself.
I like that idea. You can't vote for yourself. Tell us what guests you want us to get on. Email us, text us, send us a message on Facebook. However you got to get a hold of us, do it and tell us who you want on the show. And we're going to try to do it. We've never had 4 people.
We'll have a gift exchange, like a white elephant thing.
Yeah.
And we'll do some trivia, maybe, like some games.
We have to do a trivia. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
We did one trivia one time.
I don't think we aired it.
I thought we did.
I don't know. I
It
might
was
have been
the last
on
time
Patreon.
Dude was here.
Speaking of that, patreon.com/Snarf Talk is your new destination
Absolutely.
for everything Snarf Talk, where you can subscribe and help support the show. Jerry has promised to be better about delivering new content out there.
I mean, we have to create it.
We have a script. There's more
Oh,
pages
yeah.
to
The
go
more
out.
pages of the script, I could do that easily. But as for episode-wise,
We have a
we have
whole
to create
Fourth
those.
Reich script. We have a whole Jetpack Samurai script. And I just found a new script the other day. A whole new script. I don't even You must have wrote it. I don't think I wrote it.
Which one?
The Last Hope.
The Last Hope. Yeah, that was mine.
Which became Fourth Reich.
It did.
But you wrote, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 pages. It was pretty long.
Yeah, it was. A lot of it. That was the original idea of Fourth Reich, yeah.
So we'll get that. And I found a story that I wrote in college. It's very short. It's the beginning. It's a story starter.
It looks good.
We'll put that up there.
That's a good idea.
Or we'll read it on the air as a Patreon.
I like that.
Boom.
Boom. Man, you're just creating content
So
left and right here.
It's our Christmas episode 150 extravaganza.
Extravaganza.
It'll be right after C2E2.
Yeah, we have C2E2 coming up too, and we're going to have to videotape some of that. Hopefully we get interviews from that.
Yeah.
At least, I mean, we plan on doing that anyways.
So this is all stuff to look forward to.
We've got a 3-day excursion
Yeah.
to
If we want to go all
C2E2.
3. I don't think we'll find enough to do to go for 3 days, but
No, probably not, but definitely the first 2.
yeah. Vic says Morris Bakery cake. I don't even. Is there another cake company?
No, there isn't.
This
I don't
will be
think.
a Snarf Talk cake, and it's definitely. This is the only place I buy cake. People.
Listen,
and we buy a lot of
if
cakes.
you're buying cake, you got to go to Morris Bakery.
We probably buy like 5 cakes a year, maybe 10, maybe 10 cakes.
I mean, that's a pretty good cake market, right?
Lots
there.
of cakes, and then Marley will get donuts sometimes on the weekends.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You got to get their donuts. No joke. And we had an episode about donuts and the Morris Bakery. But I haven't found a bakery that makes better donuts.
It's really odd. We just had this conversation, maybe even last weekend. Marley went, or in the morning before anybody woke up, and got donuts from there, brought them back, which was awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome. That's normally a dad's job.
We sat down
fine.
and had this conversation. I don't drive places, Jerry.
Jeez.
I get driven.
Okay. Go ahead.
I had this whole conversation about how much different. Not that I don't enjoy Casey's donuts. I do. They're pretty good.
Yeah, they're pretty good for a gas station.
I'm not a huge fan of Dunkin' Donuts.
Not at all.
Casey's are pretty good. Anyway, how different their donuts are because it's fried lard and you can taste it.
It is? How do you know that?
You can taste that their dough is made in, I don't know if it's fried or baked or whatever it is.
I guess I didn't know
but
that.
it's made with lard. You can tell by the feel in your mouth.
It does feel different.
And the Casey's ones, while also being good, first of all, now most of them are cake donuts because they can be baked easily.
Yep.
I think all the other donuts just go through, the glazed donuts just go through the pizza oven, I'm pretty sure.
That would make sense.
Yeah. So they're all baked. Nothing's fried, and they just don't use as much lard, I don't think.
Interesting. But yeah, I really haven't found a place, and I've had a lot of different donut places. There's a lot of people that are above me in, the echelon of the Army Corps of Engineers that like to stop out to visit. And every time they usually bring a box of donuts from somewhere. And I've had them from all over the place, like Rock Island, Quad Cities area, up by Chicago, Joliet, all those areas, all around us. And every time, they're good. They're good donuts. But every time I think about it, Morris Bakery is better.
Yeah. Well, they're like gourmet donuts.
And they must put like MSG in them.
Have you ever been to Voodoo Donuts?
I have been to Voodoo Donuts.
So have I.
And it's just okay.
It's fine.
It's more novelty than anything.
100%.
That's all it is. But yeah, I went to.
You want Captain Crunch on a donut. I mean, that's where you're going to get it.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's just not that great. The donut quality was subpar, I would say.
I wouldn't say subpar. I would say they were good. They were like Morris quality donuts.
I don't think they were. Or at least the ones that I had, I don't think were Morris quality. I think they were Casey's quality, just with the gimmick.
Yeah.
That's in Portland, Oregon, by the way.
Yes, it is. Dirk said Vic is going to pop out of the cake.
Vic, come on over, man.
Yeah, but
I'll let you pop out of a
he doesn't
cake.
live here.
A road trip.
Joel says, get a cake where Kevin Smith pops out naked and yells, you're listening to Snarf Talk. If we could, we would. And he would probably do it. Well, he wouldn't do it naked.
I don't want him to be naked. I don't want him to be
but
naked
we
at all.
can tomorrow get him to record us a video message that says he's listening to Snarf Talk.
We can?
Yeah.
For just a small amount of money,
Yeah,
I'm
it's like
sure.
$400. Was it $400? 500?
I don't know. The last time, but I thought it only opens and closes at certain times. Like he only opens it.
But it was like, I think it was $400.
Has he reopened it?
I don't know. If anybody wants to contribute to the Kevin Smith cameo, you're more than welcome to.
You know who Craig's vote is for a person to be interviewed on the show?
Who?
Mr. Aaron Neville.
You know what? We should reach out to his people.
I think so.
We might.
He told me I was a little too big for my britches for asking right off the bat.
He won't be one of the mainstay guests. We'll still do the 2.
Yeah.
He doesn't count because he was an interview guest. That's different than I wouldn't call
like
it co-host,
in-person,
but
in person, like close.
Yeah,
to
the people that
show.
we have in studio, we're not interviewing them.
No, they're just on the show.
So Aaron Neville doesn't count, but he might. Maybe could get him a call-in appearance to sing like a Christmas song for our podcast. I bet we could.
I bet we could too.
So that'll be, or maybe it'll even be a Patreon.
I'll have my people talk to his people.
Do you think we could do a Christmas private call-in Aaron Neville Christmas concert, Patreon only, exclusive?
Yes, absolutely.
That's what we're
going
to
do
do.
that.
Write this shit down.
Keep it in your head.
Craig, write this stuff down for us, please.
Yeah, Craig, write that down and then watch it on Patreon.
And deliver it. No, write down our ideas for us.
Yeah, I know.
And give them to you.
Okay. I just saw him on Thursday or Wednesday.
You all should just review Cake's episode idea. This is a great idea, and it's kind of what we're going to do because
I was
next
hoping
episode Jerry's got a special surprise review because we've done the Bud Light seltzers. We on air. We did something else on air too.
We did the beans.
We did beans.
We did the Heinz beans.
Jerry's got our next one coming right now.
And I decided one day, after watching multiple TikToks, that we need to have a pickle review because I've seen so many different types of pickles out there and different brands and different flavors and different things that I thought, you know what, I'm going to buy a bunch of pickles of all different flavors and we're going to try them. And now, and I'll say it on the episode because next week we'll do it. I was hoping to get them this week because I ordered them a while ago, but they only ship at certain times because they get them all canned, you know, and sealed up, and then they have to make sure that they can ship them to you within a couple days because they want to keep them cold.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what this. They sent me a big note, and they're like, "Hey, we only ship these at certain times because we got to keep them cold. We got to make sure they're going to get to you within 2 days." And they shipped yesterday, and I was hoping we'd get them today. Didn't obviously happen, and then I was thinking we could get it tomorrow, but you couldn't record tomorrow, so we'll do it next week. Anyway, I bought a variety pack of 6 different types of pickles. Plus, I have the standard, in my mind, as a Clausen. A nice Clausen dill pickle. I don't care if it's a spear, baby dill.
I'm privy to the Mount Olive.
Really?
It's like the generic
it is,
store
yes,
brand for...
Yes, for everybody.
Everywhere. Everyone
gets those. They're fine.
They're good.
I really love Clausen.
I think I like the Mount Olives better than the Clausens.
That's impossible.
Impossible!
Your review of these pickles, I can already tell, is going to be just hot garbage. But I follow a guy on TikTok, that pickled guy, and these are his favorite brand, the brand that I bought. So we're gonna see if they live up to the hype. We're gonna be crunching on them. We're gonna be crunching on some dills.
The best kosher dill pickles you can get at the supermarket. Epicurious article, real quick.
Oh sure. I color me Epicurious.
The absolute best kosher dill pickle.
Okay.
Clausen.
I know that.
Number 2, Batempte.
Never heard of it, but it sounds
tempting.
Very tempting.
Vlasic.
Vlasic's fine. I think that's a solid middle of the road.
You know what? I was thinking, is Vlasic the one with the pelican?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. That was Clausen. Oh no. Clausen's the one I always get.
Of course.
But I like the stork one. I forgot about the stork one.
Vlasic.
Vlasic.
Yes. Come on, you need to brush up on your.
Wasn't there an ad where he's
stuff.
like Vlasic?
Yeah.
Like he had a cigar. He's like,
I think it was a pickle.
You over there.
Yeah.
Get yourself a Vlasic.
Hey, baby boy, I just delivered. Eat yourself a pickle, huh?
What do you say? See?
Come over here, you see?
Why was he using the Vlasic like a cigar?
I don't think he really did. Maybe like in the 50s.
Did he not really talk like that? Was there not
he
ads? Did I make those ads?
No, the ads were a thing. That was an absolute thing. Yeah. But I don't believe he used a pickle as a cigar at all.
Hey, sir, see? Kid, get over here.
Come on over and try this pickle chip.
You want to play some jacks?
I got baby dills. Want to play some jacks? Yeah.
This is old-timey.
Yeah, old-timey
Who
thing.
plays that jacks? Does anybody? Do you
know
before. How to play that
Yes.
game?
Yes.
You bounce a ball.
And grab as many jacks as you can.
I never understood that.
And
you can pretty much get all of them.
And catch the ball, though.
But the other person gets to spread them out as wide as they want.
I don't know. I thought you only played by yourself.
You have to play against another person.
No, that's what old-time games were. You didn't have anybody around you. They were all dead. You had to play by yourself.
And those kids were always crouching playing those games. You ever notice that?
On the floor.
They're always crouching, though. They're never sitting down.
Of course. You had to be ready for anything.
Nobody crouches anymore.
It's because of bears.
How often do you see people crouching?
Wolves were a problem.
It was always people on the streets that were causing problems. They get a flat cap on.
Yeah, playing dice.
Probably smoking a cigar.
Guaranteed.
Kids.
Yeah, kids
smoking
were.
cigars. Mm-hmm. And that freaking Vlasic stork was with him. He's the one that started all this.
They only got a 10-minute break from the factory.
Yeah.
You come out in the alley, you play some jacks, you throw some dice, you win some money, smoke a cig, and you get back to work.
Tucked in wife beater, suspenders.
Suspenders, yep. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
This is what I think of when I think of Vlasic pickles.
Okay. Well, I mean, they're very middle-of-the-road pickle, and those were very middle-of-the-road people. So...
Hey, some of them were veterans, Jerry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't take those children.
Hey, I'm a very middle of the road guy as well.
They built
America.
The airplanes.
They built America. They were like all those pictures of the guys standing on steel skyscrapers.
Yes,
those were them kids.
Yeah, when they got a little older.
Yep.
I mean,
they played jacks up on the skyscrapers.
Jimmy fell
for baloney.
R.I.P. Jimmy.
Oh, Jimmy, my man. Miss you, bro.
Those pictures are insane still to me.
It's real.
I know it's real. It's crazy, though.
Mm-hmm. Standing up there, riveting. That's what they were doing. Everything was built with rivets,
Yeah, I know.
It's hot rivets.
Yep. Craig said, bounce a ball, pick them up one at a time, get them all the next round, you grab two at a time, etc.
Oh, you go up. One number at a time.
So does it go back and forth? Like you bounce it and grab one, and then you bounce it and grab one, and whoever.
It's a game played by yourself. I'm telling you.
I don't think so.
I think it is.
Why were they always standing around in a group then? Those kids on the street.
Well, you wanted to see who could do the most.
So you are competing.
Well, you're competing, but you're playing by yourself. It's not like you give it.
You're
to somebody.
playing one at a time. You're not playing by yourself because you're competing with another person.
One at a time. Yes, you're right.
Okay. Just wanted to clarify.
Okay, right. One person is playing the game.
Joel says, Jerry Snyder, Lockmaster, Master of Locks.
Pickle Master.
Pickle Master. I don't know if you can call yourself the Master of Pickles, but if you did.
Not yet, but I'm gonna.
Probably gets a bad press.
No, I'm gonna.
Jerry Snyder. It's like a middle school insult. Jerry Snyder, Master of Pickles.
Pickle Master Jerry. Look at him. Look at how many pickles he can eat.
Major fan of solo games.
I am just of Jack's though.
Is Jack's one player game? See,
it is.
Google doesn't even know what Jack's is.
I know what Apple Jacks
Okay,
are.
how to play Jack's. Jack's is a great, easy to learn game that can be played indoors on a hard floor or outdoors on concrete. Thank you.
Okay.
It can be played in groups, pairs, or solo. So we're both right.
We are all right. Everyone's right. In today's day and age, nobody's wrong.
Gather all your jacks and a ball.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Jacks look dangerous.
Play on a hard surface. Yeah, we got that part. Very clear about that.
Yeah, they're.
Don't try and play jacks on carpet.
No, because they'll be stuck and it'll go right in your foot.
Gather your players if desired.
Okay.
It's not always desired, Jerry.
I don't desire it at all. I want to be by myself playing these jacks.
There is no hard rule concerning the maximum amount of players.
15.
You can play with 6 or more players.
Interesting.
Oh, no, that's not true. You can play in teams of 2 for games with 6 or more players.
Okay.
Decide who goes first. This is the slowest WikiHow article.
Yeah.
It's like, decide who goes first.
Why are you doing a WikiHow? I hate those things.
I don't know. Scatter all the jacks on the playing surface. Toss the ball into the air. Pick up a single jack. Let the ball bounce and catch it.
Okay.
Throw the ball again and pick up a single jack. Move on to the next player after a foul. Continue on to the next rounds. Oh, my God.
Oh, it's like everybody tries to pick up 1.
Yeah.
And then everybody tries to pick up 2. I see. And then last man standing, right?
I don't even understand how games like this come to be.
Well, it's when you have absolutely nothing else to do. And this is the games you had. So they didn't have television. If you were an upstanding citizen, you had a radio, you know, and you could listen to like the radio play on Friday night.
You could listen to the War of the Worlds.
Yes.
Orson Welles. People like
thought the world
out.
was ending. Thought it was real. Aliens.
I just thought of that. What's similar to Jax, not Jax, but in the game, in the movie show Squid Game.
Okay.
One of the games is revolved around marbles. It's probably one of the best episodes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sounds
harrowing.
Sounds harrowing. Sounds riveting.
And Craig just said marbles are better.
Really?
Wikipedia has rendered
Gerald.
Oh, Gerald.
A teller of
I
untruths.
thought it was Geralt. I'm like, wait, what does...
You can't even read anymore.
My left eye, if you can't tell, is...
Oh, they can tell.
Punch drunk.
Punch drunk left eye. I am flummoxed.
I don't know what happened to my eye. I must have hit myself. I don't remember.
How is that a thing? Where you just hit your face off of things?
You ever read...
Well, I can understand why you don't remember because you're concussed, most likely. And
could be.
You can't
Have you ever
remember.
seen the movie, the Da Vinci Code?
Of course.
I'm like the bad guy.
I don't remember.
Self-flatulating.
Oh,
Is that what it's called?
No. Self-flatulating. You fart on yourself?
Flagellating, right?
Just flatulating, where you're just like, yeah, I'm going to fart on myself.
What is the word?
I don't know. Self-mutilating?
No, it's self-flagellating.
Where you just harm yourself?
Yeah, it's when you whip yourself.
Yeah, you punish yourself. It's self-punishment. Let's just call it that.
Okay.
It sounds a lot better.
It's better than flatulating.
Yeah. Flagellating.
So yeah, that Pickle reviews coming up. That's what we were
Oh,
talking
yeah,
about.
yeah. By the way, Pickles.
How did we get to
I
self-flagellate?
I have no idea.
Pickles? Oh my god. I
Yeah,
haven't even got through my opening intro news yet. So
all right,
Veterans Day, almost 150. Theme music. I made a note. I think we need to replace our theme music, our intro theme.
All right.
I think we need to go to only the outro theme. I think that is our music.
Only the outro theme for both intro and outro.
Both. That's our theme.
You think so?
Yeah. We don't need two different themes. We have one. The outro one's better. It's more catchy.
Plus, we've always had the...
Plus, it won't get us flagged on YouTube.
Why won't it?
It doesn't. I don't know. It never does.
Bum, 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 bum.
You know what?
Man.
Leave it up to the people. Let us vote. Everybody, let us know in comments, emails, however. You got a month to decide. We'll change it at 150 on this big episode. We'll reveal.
You guys are going to have to go.
This isn't a big reveal, but we're going to do what you tell us to do.
I can't even play. I could play a snippet of both, right? Like you can't play over a certain amount of seconds.
You can play. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. You can play the end one.
You wanted to have an answer for that so
Are you
bad.
talking for YouTube?
Yeah.
You can play the end one because it doesn't flag us. The first one always flags us. I don't know for how long, though.
I know. That's what I was wondering. I thought there was a time frame. You can only play things for a certain amount of time.
15 seconds.
That's what you think it is? I thought it was 10. I'm going to play like 5 seconds of each one.
Okay.
And then people can vote on it.
All right.
Okay.
Our current intro. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, go. That's option number one.
That's option
You've
number
all
one.
heard that one.
Yeah, we've all heard
But
it.
not most people don't get through to the end of the podcast. They might not know our outro music.
And the outro music, very good. Very Doctor Who-y,
Very much.
I call it.
And it gets better towards the end.
It does.
And you're not going to play the whole thing, obviously. But
No, it's a long one. This is a long one. But this is the outro
we'll
music.
find a snippet, though, for our intro. We'll make it like a 10-second clip out of it.
Sure. Okay, ready?
Go.
That's the outro music. It continues. It gets a little bit different as it goes on. It gets a little...
Yeah, the ending is very exciting.
It goes wild.
Just like that. Diddly-dee.
Diddly-dee.
Diddly-do.
That's what it does.
So you vote. You let us know what you want. There's enough people watching for you guys just to decide right now.
Yeah, you really all could just decide and tell us. And then we'll do it. And then we'll do it. We'll do what you want. Okay?
Yeah. It's very intimidating.
Just saying. Just letting them know.
Very intimidated right now. Joel, we went from cake to pickles to Jax to Chris going partially blind. In that order, you're on a roll. I agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's it. That's my intro. That's all I had to, my only announcements, I should say. That was just the announcement segment.
Okay, announcement segment is done. Also, we did...
Snarf... We need a word for that.
What?
Snarfments?
Snarfments? I don't know if I like that.
Snarf-announcements? That's good.
Yeah, snarf announcements. I like that.
It's so awkward to say. It's funny.
It's really hard to say.
Snarf announcements. That was our Snarf announcements.
You can't.
I can't even say it. Oh, I have another Snarf announcement.
Okay.
That's what it is, Snarf announcement. But
yes.
Snarf announcements, that's hard
the
to say.
past
Sounds
tense.
German. Snarf announcements.
Snarf announcements. Yeah, you gotta yell it at
Snarf
people.
announcements.
Snarf announcements.
Okay, that's it. That is, you have to say that every time we do this segment. Say
Okay.
it. Ready?
Snarf announcements.
Oh my God, that's amazing. You sound just like Alan Schaefer doing an impression of Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Get out of here.
Okay, Snarf announcement. No, I did it wrong. I gotta do Snarf announcements.
That's very good. Sounds like you got punched in the gut.
We have a new YouTube channel. YouTube.com/SnarfTalk.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was also going to bring up.
Why do we do that? We did that because we have rebranded everything as Snarf Talk. Yep. Instagram @Snarf Talk. YouTube @Snarf Talk. Patreon @Snarf Talk. Facebook @Snarf Talk. Twitter @Snarf Talk. TikTok @Snarf Talk.
Mm-hmm.
What else are we on? Everything.
You said Patreon?
Yeah. There's one more that I'm forgetting.
OnlyFans.
Yes, OnlyFans.
Yeah, our OnlyFans is Snarf Talk.
Snarf Talk. Check it out. It gets a little wild.
Oh, very wild.
Yeah.
I'm sore from it.
So,
it's a workout. We just do workouts.
yeah. Yesterday was arms and legs.
Yeah. Oh, gosh, my legs hurt so bad. My thighs.
Tomorrow's rowing.
It's a rowing day. Gosh, I love row day. It's my favorite.
We're going to get out of the old Wapakan Creek. That's what our OnlyFans is. We got these rowing machines, and we do it with a background, like delete, so it looks like we're going down.
Yeah.
Like we're in the Boston Crew.
What's the Boston
The Harvard Crew? Is it Harvard or Yale? The Crew is one of the teams. Like,
oh, it is? Are they in a snake boat?
They're
Do they do
rowers.
snake boats?
The Crew Rowing Squad.
I think it's more of a team. They've got a captain, don't they? And that's the guy who yells at them.
Maybe Crew is just the name. That's like rowing crews.
I
plural.
thought that was like the jackets they wore and the sweaters.
No. I think
from Crew.
Instead of team, they call them crews. That's what I mean. Like other schools have
I
crews
gotcha.
as well. But I think when you're at a school, they just call it crew. Like I'm going to crew.
If you're on the row, if you do the rowing
practice.
team,
you would say I'm going to team practice. They would say I'm going to crew practice.
Okay, I get it.
That's it. I don't know where that even came from.
Well, because we're rowing.
Rowing OnlyFans, yes. YouTube.com/SnarfTalk. End of
Snarf announcements.
Yes! We've never done anything better than that.
No. You don't think so?
No.
All right.
All right.
Yeah. That's also what I was going to say. Snarf Talk. I don't know if anybody, did anybody, actually search Snarf comics, though?
I don't know. I don't think anybody's ever gone
really
on our YouTube page, ever.
Paid attention to it. But
People don't go on our YouTube page.
We get some people to go on the
don't.
YouTube
We
page.
get like 2 people.
There's some. They're our friends. They like us. People need to promote that a lot more for us, okay? I'm putting that out there. I promote it as much as I can, but nobody listens to me.
Joel, we can't play whatever that is, but is that the Celine Dion version of My Heart Will Go On for our intro music?
It's a kazoo
Oh, it's a
cover.
kazoo cover. I don't think we can play it, though, legally.
We can't if somebody else owns it.
I want to listen to that. We can't play it on the air, though.
Yeah. And you should just play random NES games midis.
Can't do that either. Definitely can't do that.
You got to buy the rights to everything because YouTube will take it down.
If we did, I'd do Castlevania.
And when we're monetized and we just start raking in so much cash from the YouTubes, they will demonetize those videos, and I can't afford to let that happen.
Even worse, they'll send the money to that content creator.
Right, and I hate them.
Don't want that.
I don't like those people. that created it. I like the music.
Yeah. I like to steal it.
But you as a person,
I like to thieve.
don't like you. Because I'm going to take your stuff and use it for myself.
Okay.
For my own profit.
News?
I got some. Let me find it.
We got what you're watching too. Later on, while Jerry's doing this, we're gonna review Lock and Key. We've been talking about doing that.
Hang on.
And then we got more what you're watching.
Before I get into any of these, I just have some little news things. They're nothing real big, but I've got one spring stretcher, and then 3 other things that I wanted to discuss that I just find odd.
Okay, Dirk said this episode is like a live version of being inside my head.
Well, we're gonna get even deeper in your head.
All right.
I'm gonna get real deep into Dirk here, real quick.
You're gonna get real deep,
real Dirk
into
deep,
Dirk's
deep
head,
frontal cortex.
Yeah.
Anyway,
medulla oblongata.
We're in the year 2021, soon to be 2022. I mean, we're pretty advanced, at this stage of humanity, right? Like the advancements are technically slower than what they were before because we were like leaps and bounds making planes, going to space, doing this, doing that.
They're not slower. They're way faster.
You think so?
There's actually a law about it. It's like every year the pace of technological advancement
is just
increases at a rate so that it starts becoming exponential. And we entered that like it was an official, like this is when it starts going exponential based on mathematical models, right?
So we're
they're
gonna
100%. They're not wrong.
Yeah.
It was like 2020 was when that period hit. And then it all is just like
it makes sense because of the whole space thing that's happening.
We're at the straight up curve, because like an exponential curve kind of starts like this, and then sometimes just goes vertical.
Yeah.
We're at the pivot point.
Like the recent election.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened.
What do you mean?
Remember all the votes?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
It's like, that's what happened.
Okay.
Anyway.
Well, we're at the exponential pace. So like things are going to radically change. I mean, they say, I can't remember if it's us. Actually, I don't think it's us. I think it's the generation above us is not going to live long enough to see like the real.
Like our kids?
No. Like us. Like we'll be old then when it's like in a whole new stratosphere than what we can even recognize from now.
Really? We'll
make it. We'll be able to see.
We're going to still have a podcast.
Yeah,
and we're going to be like, man, back in my day.
We're going to be playing jacks with a classic pickle.
Back in my day,
see?
I ate classics and played jacks.
I played jacks and classics. I'm like, Dad, Granddad, great-granddad, we have a podcast of you saying you don't know what jacks are.
Yeah, you literally have one. I believe it's episode 146.
You told us yesterday you used to be on skyscrapers eating out of a lunchbox, and we heard on a podcast that happened 40 years before you were born,
prior
Dad.
to you.
Dad. I mean, Granddad, great-granddad.
Great-grandpa. You were streaming on the internet. Anyway, so...
See, we were already old by then, Sonny. We were full-grown adults. What were you talking about as adults?
You know what we're going to talk
Comic
about?
book.
Cereal bags. Here's the deal.
Stop right there. I just had a discussion about cereal bags an hour ago with Marley.
Is it about being zippered, like Ziploc bags?
No, but continue.
So I know they do sell like the cheaper variety of cereal, and it'll be in a bigger bag usually, and a lot of them do have a zipper on it. Great. Those people are leaps and bounds against the main companies.
The people
that are giving you,
it's like they have a vested interest in mouse turds being in your cereal.
And for you to not ever finish it or it goes bad, because children are the worst and they leave everything open. But either way, even crinkling the package back up and putting your little cardboard flaps on the top to cover it, it's not the same as a Ziploc. Why can't we get a double lock Ziploc type bag to keep my cereal fresh?
I instituted the Rubbermaid cereal. You just fill it. You dump it out immediately. Or you can just put the whole bag in it and put the lid on.
I get it. That seems like a lot of work, though.
It's not. It's not a lot of work.
Do the kids do it?
Yeah.
They do?
If you dump it out into the cereal things, it's actually more convenient.
So I want to do that as well. I just still think it's ridiculous that they can't put
a zipper
little zipper bag in there. Why can't they?
Because consumers like you aren't willing to pay the $42 extra it would cost them to put that 1 cent zipper bag in there.
Yeah.
But that's how much they would
That
charge
is exactly
you.
what they think, and they would charge you a lot more. And a lot of people may have the argument that you don't keep cereal around long enough to
First of all,
worry
the
about it
bags,
going
are they
stale.
plastic? They're
They're
plastic.
very thin
Yeah.
polypropylene.
But they're like a waxy substance. It's not just plastic. They're coated
Maybe
in like a wax.
Yeah, the inside of it maybe.
I think, yeah, more than inside.
Either way, I don't care. Zip it up, bruh.
It's
That's my one topic I wanted to discuss. I think it's ridiculous.
Adam said, love me some malto meal fruit rounds.
The fruit rounds.
That's
yeah.
like Fruit Loops, right?
Yeah, and that's what those ones come in a bag that do have a zipper at the top that I always rip through, and it ends up leaving the bag open anyways. But
Kelly said, but if you buy the big bags, you can't fit it all in the container.
you can't.
You still need a zipper,
Double zipper.
Put what you can put in the container, and then for your next meal, everybody eats that cereal. The leftover.
For the very next meal, nobody eats anything
There's
else.
nothing
but
wrong
cereal.
with eating cereal for dinner.
I
I
get
ate
it.
cereal for dinner tonight.
I eat cereal all the time.
Story on this.
Okay.
I opened a bag of corn pops. There were the little mini boxes.
Oh yeah.
So there's Fruit Loops, Frosted Flakes, Frosted Mini Wheats, Corn Pops, and Apple Jacks. Those are the options.
Man, that's a good selection of cereal right there.
So I had a thing of Apple Jacks because,
Of course.
yes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I haven't had a corn pop since I was a kid.
Yeah.
I just remember it as a kid and then something Joe Biden talks about.
Yeah.
You see, there was this guy named Corn Pop. And the hair is standing up all over my legs. Because I had hair legs.
Big hair legs.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Okay. He had quite a speech today.
He had quite a day today. Former President Biden, if he was being judged on the other side.
Right,
he
if
would
it
be
was a proper
immediately
judgment.
impeached.
Yes.
Wouldn't even have.
Not even going to bring up what he said, but it starts with the letter N.
Yeah, it's not good. Anyway, corn pops. So I'm like, I haven't had these for a long time. Dump a bag. First of all, I open the little box, pull out the little bag, and there's 2 errant pops outside of the bag in the box. And I think that's odd.
Yeah, that's not right.
Dump it in. I'm like, getting ready to eat it. I'm like, I wonder if that bag was open.
Something's awry here.
I wonder if that bag was open.
Yeah.
So whatever. I'm like, it probably just fell in the factory. Have a couple bites, and they just don't taste like I remember corn pops tasting. I thought they had crunch, Jerry.
They do have crunch.
They didn't have crunch. They had mush.
Oh,
Like a
that's-
slow.
That's bad.
So I threw them out.
That's why your eye looks like that.
I get another box of corn pops because now I'm curious. Like, what's
Yeah,
the situation?
This can't be the same.
Open it up. Same thing.
They were mush?
Nope. There's errant pops in there.
Oh,
So I
you
pulled-
got a mouse.
No, there was no holes, mouse holes in the box. The box was intact.
Uh-huh.
This was the bag inside. So I pull that bag out, and I notice a little dust sprinkling out of the bag. And I go, well, that ain't right. That bag's popped. I said, this must be a bad batch. Pull out another one. Open that one up. Errant pops again, Jerry.
Wow.
Pull out the bag. Bag's intact.
What?
So now I'm thinking, maybe they just taste like this. They tasted stale.
Yeah, that sounds like they would taste stale. That's why they're soft.
So I threw them all away and got Frosted Flakes.
What was the problem?
I don't know. I threw them all
You've
away.
never figured it out?
No. It's a
Errant
mystery.
pops in a box.
But I do have mice, but I don't think there was any mice holes. I've caught 3 mice in the last day.
Okay.
But
Well, that's good.
I don't think now my traps, it was like over the last 3 days.
Are you putting that bucket trap in your house?
No, that thing is, okay, I got a flippy top bucket mouse trap that goes over a 5-gallon bucket, and you fill it half full with water so they drown.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to tell you what. I put one out by the bins, and I put one in the shop. Forgot about it for like a month.
That's not good.
Full of decomposed rats. It was horrible.
Oh, rats?
Rats and mice, both. They all joined the party.
Of course. Anywhere by a grain bins. I don't know what it is about the grain bins, but rats love to be around.
So I dumped that out in the field. I put it back. I reset it. I go, I got to remember, I got to check this thing every other day, at least, maybe every day. Just make it part of your routine.
Yeah, every day. Yep.
Didn't do that for like 3 weeks.
Okay.
Walked in there the other day. Stinks. Stinks.
Stink, stank, stunk.
This is because this is out in the building by the bins, and I haven't really needed to be out there for a while. So I'm pretty sure it's full. I left it. That was like a week ago. I forgot.
Is it still
I forgot
there?
that happened until just now.
We had the discussion on Saturday.
Yeah.
And now you just are remembering that it's still out there full.
Yeah.
That's
So
interesting.
that's is that your first weird thing?
That was my first one.
Okay.
My next one is that, again, we're in 2021, almost 2022, and they still make socks in a way that there's that little nub in there that makes it uncomfortable. If
On
you
the
don't have
end
a-
of the little line that goes over your toes.
Yeah. If you don't have it on perfectly,
Why
everybody
do they need
needs
that line?
Why can't you put them together, like make socks differently? There's got to be a way.
Well, maybe there is if you spend money on like expensive socks.
Who does that?
People do.
Do you?
No. I buy I buy whatever's okay. I have some Dickies socks.
Yeah, I got some.
Those aren't bad.
Yeah.
Fruit of the Loom is usually the best.
My mother-in-law always buys me socks for Christmas. They're like part of
Fruit of
the.
the Looms are your good standard everyday sock. They're
Yeah.
good. But I have a lot of Under Armour socks, and they make a good sock.
Do they? I've
And
never
they're
had
not
none.
that much more expensive. All the more expensive socks aren't more expensive. It's just like you get half as many as you get in a Fruit of the Loom.
Yes, you don't get very
And
many.
do you need
and-
like a 20-pack, or can you deal with like a 10-pack?
I mean, I like to have a lot of socks.
I do too. I also get these ones from Amazon that got like a little circle with a dot.
Never
That's their
seen it.
logo. It's a tennis brand.
Okay. Well, it's caused me so much headache. Not necessarily in my life, but for the.
You're talking about the little knot in your sock?
Uh-huh.
It's caused you so much of a headache.
Oh, my
in your-
gosh.
in your life?
Oh yeah, because of the children. Two of my children.
The women.
And the children. Two of my children have this thing where that sock better be on their foot perfect, or
I agree. Kids are crazy about it.
or it
it's like
will-
a Princess and the Pea situation.
it really is. You can't. They.
That's a good episode name. The Princess and the Pea situation.
I was in a musical in high school, Princess and the Pea.
Really?
Yeah.
I just remember the book, the Mickey Mouse, like.
I was
Minnie
Sir
Mouse book.
Studley. That was my character. It was a great time. Great time.
Not a lot of casting options.
No, there wasn't. Not at all.
I was the lead in the school play.
Which one?
Rally Round the Flag, boys.
Oh, sounds like a bad one.
It was a good one. I was a good lead.
Sounds subpar. Anyway, yeah, the kids will go absolutely nuts, and I've literally tried to force them put their shoes on. It just doesn't work, and they'll freak out, and then you got to fix the sock, find a different sock, and fix it. Just come on,
Sock
find
problems-
a better way to make socks. I don't know if I'm gonna have to figure it out for you, or what needs to happen.
I don't know if anybody has the sock problems that I have. I'm guessing all parents do, but I'm going to describe it. Because it's the worst part of every day of my life.
Yeah,
Because it's impossible to find socks for anybody, for yourself, for your kids, whatever. It's impossible. Second, not that I'm like, I don't care about matching two different kinds of socks.
yeah, whatever.
However, if they're like wildly different, it does bother me a little.
You can't. I don't even allow it to happen.
Yeah.
really.
So I always
If I have any
need
control
to
of
find
it.
something that pretty closely matches the other sock.
Yeah.
Well, we just were in a situation where we were taking all socks because I had a kind of laundry sorting situation.
Yes.
All socks went into one sock bin.
That's
and
what we
then
do,
from that
too.
point, you
Then you
wade
sort 'em.
through it.
Yeah.
This was the worst part of my life, and it was actually like actively making my life worse.
It's like
Like the
causing
amount
you.
of anxiety about
I get
having
it.
to find all these socks in the morning when you're already late and you're running behind with getting 3 kids ready for school.
Yeah.
My wife does most of that
Okay.
because progressively it's gotten.
Because you're just standing there screaming at a sock bin.
Yes, that's what happens, and I can't help it, right?
You're screaming at a bin full of socks while Marley's doing everything else.
Yeah, basically. I can't deal with it.
It's
This
just-
is the worst part of my life.
You walk into Chris's house at 7:00 in the morning, and he's standing there doing this. No, just at a bucket of
I'm
socks.
telling you, Jerry, this is exactly what happens. I'm not even joking.
That's sad.
Yeah, it was miserable until I changed the laundry sorting situation. So how that works is I have a basket for every person, and it's sorted out of the dryer into that person's basket.
We do the same thing
When the
now.
basket is full, it has to be taken to the room and put away, not folded in the living room.
Yes.
Taken to the room and immediately put away,
Put away.
and returned.
We do it. We do that now.
Okay.
That's a great way to do laundry, by the way.
Don't do the sock basket, though. Put the people's socks when they come out of the dryer in their basket.
How do you do that? How do you even sort them?
You can.
We
It's easier to do it then than to sort a gigantic thing full of socks.
way easier for us, I think, with the sock situation, only because I have a household of 100% boys except for Amy. And Amy started buying the exact same sock for all of them.
Well, that's what I was getting to. That's the real solution to the problem, is to never buy different colored socks.
Nope,
They
we
all have
don't.
to be the exact same sock, period.
Yes.
End of story.
Yep.
And
Now, we haven't got there fully.
There's stragglers.
We
There's
have
old
socks that are smaller, different colors, and whatever. And a lot of those go to Graham. A lot of those stragglers are Graham socks because he's smaller. But Grady and Grant have the identical sock, and it's just a black sock. That's all it is. Because
Wonderful.
you can't ever go wrong with a black sock. I never grew up with black socks. I
didn't
thought
even know it was a thing. It was church only.
Thought it was weird.
Church only. The only time you wore a black sock was going to church.
Andrew Burkhart wore black socks to school all the time, and I was like, "What is it? What are you?"
That is weird.
I thought it was weird. Now the boys do. We only have black socks.
Don't get it.
That's all they wear.
Dirk wears his socks upside down. Doubles their longevity.
It's true. It will, but it still has the.
You mean inside out?
inside out? Yeah, not upside down.
How would upside down work?
The heel, it wouldn't work right. That would feel really weird. Last thing I want to talk about that I just found out was a thing. In Canada and other foreign countries like Europe too, they have
Europe's not a country.
other foreign countries, Europe,
Typical American.
a lot of
doesn't
countries
know
within
anything about
Europe,
geography and just doesn't care because if
don't.
it's outside of America,
it literally doesn't matter to me. They have milk bags. They don't have milk in a carton or a container. They buy bags, plastic bags of milk. You put them in, you know, the old school like 90s pitcher with the top that has the plunger on it, and you pull the top off, you put whatever in it, and then you can put the top back on with that little plunger thing. They were usually orange.
yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do know what you're talking about.
Okay. That type of pitcher, they use somewhat similar to that for their milk bags. And they put the bag of milk inside this pitcher. They cut the end off, and you pour the milk out of this pitcher bag thing.
Sounds like a terrible idea.
Really weird, isn't it?
Would it save anyone on any plastic?
I'm sure it saves some plastic,
You
but
know, a lot of places they just drink milk like out of, well, first of all, milk cartons.
cartons, yeah.
I guess that's still a thing. But, you know, the milk in Mexico is just out on the shelf.
It
It's
is.
not refrigerated. I think it's irradiated.
How does that work?
It's irradiated.
I don't know what that means. It's got a radiator?
No, it's treated with radiation. So once it's put in its container, it's treated with radiation to kill any parasites or any bacteria inside. Kind of like canning it without having to have hot.
Uh-huh. Yeah, because if there's nothing in there, no bacteria, you can't spoil.
Right, exactly. So it
And it
doesn't
has no
need to be
contact
refrigerated.
it has no contact with air.
Irradiated milk.
Never heard of this.
Food irradiation. What you need to know. I think apples. A lot of apples, I believe, are irradiated.
What, even now, like with us?
I think so. Yeah. Heat treating milk. Well, that's pasteurization. Obviously.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Some people don't like irradiated milk, but it is a thing. And I mean,
Don't like it because it changes
I'm
the
sure
taste?
they think it's bad for you.
Well,
Okay, it's
Come
the
on.
process of exposing food and food packaging to ionizing radiation, such as from gamma rays, X-rays, or electron beams, without direct contact to the food product. When ionizing radiation passes through a food product, some energy is absorbed by some chemical bonds. Some bonds rupture and produce free radicals, which are highly radioactive and unstable.
oh, free radicals. Don't. What's that song?
Don't let go. You got the music in you. Don't give up. You always get what you give. It's a great song.
Yeah, it is.
It improves food safety by extending product shelf life and reducing the risk of foodborne illness, delaying spoiling, sprouting, or ripening by sterilizing foods, and it's a means of controlling insect and invasive pests. So there you go.
Okay, now I know. Anyway, food milk bags, weird, right?
Yeah, weird stuff. Weird,
Wild stuff. Yes, that's all I had for the weird things. Now on to regular news. Do you have any news? I've only got 2 things.
Craig said they recycle all their bottles there too. You know, recycling's fake. Did you know that?
To a point.
No, it's not real.
Oh, come on.
Anything that you're recycling anywhere, basically in the United States, is going into a landfill.
Not everything.
Pretty much everything. Nobody does a really. It's impossible. This has been tried for so long. The problem is there's so many different kinds of plastics, and to truly recycle them, they have to be sorted individually by their plastic components.
Oh, really?
And nobody does that. Nobody does that. So they just take it, and it's cheaper to just take it to a landfill and dump it like regular garbage than it is to hire people to sort through the garbage, which they used to do. They used to hire like homeless people and people to sort through this plastic by these plastic recycling facilities. And that's why we were shipping all of our recyclables to China and Asia, because we were shipping boatloads, container loads of plastic to Asia, because they had cheap labor to sort through the plastic for recycling. And then they were processing their recycled plastic and shipping it back. That's how the whole industry worked. What happened was, A, it became cost prohibitive then to ship the plastic there, and B, they didn't have enough people that were willing to do it anymore, or it got too expensive. So they quit accepting our plastic. And all the plastic they had and all the plastic that was coming, and for years before this process was fully realized, they were just dumping it in the ocean.
China?
Yeah. So we felt good in the United States, like, oh, we're doing good by the earth. We're recycling. And it was just getting shipped to China and dumped in landfills or in the ocean.
In the ocean.
All right. So what happened is China stopped accepting our recycling. Couldn't do it anymore. South America, too. Same thing. Central America. Some of these countries. So we had to start sorting through our own recycling. So for a while, they tried this with like really low-income people or homeless people. And obviously, then it became way too cost-prohibitive.
Sure.
So instead of doing that, they just took it all to the landfills and dumped it. And that's exactly where your recycling bin goes right now, to a landfill to get buried with all the other garbage.
But that's just for plastic, not for cardboard? Paper products?
I believe, is different.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't need to be sorted through.
No, right. You just can...
But paper also just... if you dump paper in the garbage, it's being recycled.
It goes away, yeah.
It degrades to nothing.
You know what I do? I burn it all. I burn everything.
Return to the earth from whence you came.
From whence you came. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. That's what I tell it every single time I put it in my burn barrel.
If we could only play that kazoo song right now, that would be a perfect music for this.
That really would.
Anyway, I don't know how we got on that. So what are we talking about?
I just asked if you had any news.
I do have a couple things.
Okay, I also have a couple things.
I do not have anything because we talked about them. One thing is that was some news. Mm-hmm. The Eternals trailer, or the Eternals movie.
Yes.
We talked last week about how it was getting terrible reviews.
It wasn't very good.
Right before it came out, right?
Yeah, it wasn't getting good reviews.
So that was like early critic reviews.
Yes. And they were poor.
It came out. The critic reviews remain poor, with many, many people saying it's by far the worst Marvel movie. It has a 47% currently.
For critic review.
So it's actually gone down. But the audience score is 80%, which is low for a Marvel movie, but high on movie standards.
It is high on movie standards, yes.
We generally go by the audience score, but you have to kind of balance the both, right?
Yeah. People love everything.
Well, yes, that is true. What's interesting about this, I'm sure the movie's not as bad as the critics say, and it's probably not as good as the audience. It's probably somewhere in the middle. That's kind of how you work that.
Yeah.
What's the problem is that now there is a whole host of people, maybe of a political side,
yes,
that are saying that it's gotten a terrible critics scores because it was directed by a woman. That is the reason for the such terrible reviews. It has nothing to do with the movie. It's because everybody's sexist.
Okay. Well,
and this is not just one person. This is a wave of people mounting this criticism against people who dislike this movie.
I mean, obviously we know that's false.
It's ridiculous. And what's
You know how many
crazy about
movies
it,
have been directed by women?
it's
nowadays?
completely opposite. If anything, if a movie's directed by women, the critics are more likely to fawn over it.
Oh yeah, the critics especially. That's why you can't.
So this makes no sense. It's insane to me that anybody could say this kind of garbage.
You can say whatever you want nowadays, though. You can say whatever you want and claim.
Look at our president.
Yeah, really, you can. And you can claim whatever you want of anyone, regardless of what it is, and someone is supposed to take that as truth.
Yeah.
Like, they just expect you to take that as truth. It's not. It's not true. You made it up. There's no proof that people are hating on this movie because it's of sexism or they hate women.
I want to see it.
It's just made up.
Honestly, the bad reviews made me more want to see it because you know what? I bet we'll come in with low expectations.
Absolutely. I am definitely coming in with low expectations. I honestly didn't necessarily have any expectations of it to begin with because
I will say
I wasn't very interested in the movie to begin with.
I wasn't either, but the most common criticisms I've heard aren't ones that bother me. Like I've heard a lot of criticisms like there's too many characters. That doesn't bother me.
No.
I've heard like there's so many characters that they're not doing a good job of developing each character. Okay, then I consider it more of an action movie. Is the action good? Yes. Is the effects good? Yes. Where's the problem?
Yeah. Sounds good.
So, I mean, we'll see.
We will see. I want to go see it. I just noticed that it is like 2 hours and 47 minutes long.
Well, that's
like
a problem, possibly.
That's a long movie, so I
can't believe with this cast it could be bad.
That it could be bad. No,
It could easily be not good.
Mediocre.
It won't be a nightmare though.
It's still a Marvel movie.
Yes.
I think they put it together well enough.
And it's gonna be one that leads the universe forward a lot.
Yes,
it's going to be the one that ultimately we're looking. First of all,
I believe Galactus is being brought in because of this movie.
Because of this movie, they're going to bring Galactus, a huge deal. Second off, I mean, my favorite franchise on Marvel is Guardians of the Galaxy. So
and look how many characters are in that.
This is the only that, and B, this is the only other cosmic level Marvel movie we've gotten.
Yeah.
Is Guardians of the Galaxy in this? Nothing else. Maybe you could consider Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah, but Guardians was involved with that, and the only reason they were out there is because of them.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'll see it. I might even go to if I can get down in the field, I might go to theaters to see it.
I was trying to go to the theaters. I might honestly go tomorrow night with Grady. He wants to see it. He wants to see Clifford first.
I've heard that's good.
It does. I don't want to see Clifford.
No,
I don't want to see it at all. I would rather go see.
Watch that one at home. That's a home movie.
Ron's Gone Wrong. Have you seen that?
No.
It came out the same time as Dune, and it's about this little robot guy.
I heard some reviews from Dune that were interesting to me and it was from Mark Bernardin.
Oh, I haven't heard it.
And it was. I mean, was it Mark Bernard? It might have been somebody else. Their review was interesting to me because it was very similar to our review, which was like, hey, this movie's great if you know anything about Dune.
Yes.
If you don't know anything about Dune, it's going to be very difficult.
I've been telling a lot of people this.
And that is exactly the review that it got from this person that I was listening to. I want to say.
It's infuriating to honestly listen to people talk about the movie that haven't seen it before.
I don't even know if this movie's for you if you haven't read the book.
So I just had this conversation with Nate Pagoda. He's been on the show. He's never read the book, and he watched the movie at home. He was asking me what my opinion was after we went and saw the IMAX. He knew we did, and I was like, "Man, it's good. It blew me away. Like it made." Like you had said, it made light work of 3 hours. You know, I mean, it just blew by, and because you're just so immersed into this world that's happening in front of you. And he did this. Yeah, no, I didn't have that. I said, well, did you go see it in the theaters? No, I watched it at home.
Well, it's all first act. It's really odd that they would make a movie that's all first act.
Yeah, and I said,
I
said, well, there's one problem. I said, wait, have you even read the book before? And I hate being one of those pretentious people that say, like, you got to read the book.
And usually it's not true. But this time it is.
Because of the way they created the movie.
It's because they just gloss over so much.
And that's what I told him. I said, man, you are missing out on a lot of things because you've never read the book. And I said, he's like, well, maybe I'll give it another watch and get more out of it. I was like, you're not going to. You're not going to get more out of it because you don't know anything.
If you don't want to read the book, that's fine. It is a big book. Watch the show on Sci-Fi first.
Get the Cliff Notes. Go and read the Cliff Notes or something.
I think if you watch that Sci-Fi show, I mean, it was only a couple. It was a mini series actually. You're gonna get enough of a gist of it that you'll be able to.
Will you really? I've never watched that.
I think you'll be able to appreciate it that way. I'm not saying you can't like it, but it is not entertaining if you hadn't been familiar with the source material. Can you look at it and it's unbelievably gorgeous,
just beautiful.
So you can like it on that scale alone, and there's enough
visually for sure, acting for sure. You can enjoy the action and you can understand somewhat of what's going on. You just can't understand the depth of it.
If you don't know the story or haven't read the book, here's the deal with Dune. You're going to appreciate this first movie more once you've seen the second and third movies.
Yes, 1,000 times over. I believe that it will be true.
But it didn't succeed in the way of a first movie in a franchise the way that Fellowship of the Ring did.
No, but I don't think it needs to.
It didn't. But I'm just saying, if you want to look at a good example of the same thing, you're taking a book that not a lot of people have read. I mean, a lot of people have read, but
yeah,
you're talking about
but you want a mass audience,
giant movie franchise for a fantasy novel that really not a lot of people have read, and you can it's the same amount of story that happens in the first Dune and the first Fellowship of the Ring.
I never really thought about this. I've never made that connection.
But you never feel like that with Fellowship of the Ring. Anybody can watch that and get it because they just do a better job of explaining things.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean? That's it.
You're right. It just wasn't done that way.
But even if you didn't know any of that, if you watched all three Lord of the Rings movies, you understand the first one more and you appreciate it more.
So overall, I would say yes, that is a downfall of the movie when it comes to reaching the general populace of moviegoers that most likely have not read the book. But in my world, seeing as how I have read the book, you've read the book, we have intimate knowledge of these characters. It doesn't bother me in the slightest, and I almost appreciate the way they did that.
I kind of agree.
In the movie, because I don't need to wait around.
You don't want to wait
listen and figure out everything about the Bene Gesserit and everything about Paul's training with the Fremen and like learning about them. We don't need all of that. We don't need like the backstory of how deep the Harkonnens get and what they're doing. Like, I didn't need any of that. The way they did it, it was like, you already know what these people are, and we're going to get into the actual story of this.
They're doing like, okay, these are character archetypes that if you pay attention at all.
Right.
So you can infer. And
that's what happened. Like, that's what I got from Nate. He understood, like, okay, these are bad guys. Obviously, they have a history here. And he put it together. It just wasn't necessarily enjoyable for him because he had to put it together.
Too much
that
work.
Way. Yeah. Yes.
But go to you're lazy.
Yeah. He's
End
very
of story.
Lazy, very, very lazy. He really needs to step down. That's a joke. Hopefully if Joel's still listening, you'll think that's funny. We're laughing. That was all you were going to talk about. I've got a little bit of hot button news here on a good TV show that we've watched on Disney Plus.
What? Should this be in what you're watching?
No, it's a news about it.
Okay, got it.
It is the Mighty Ducks Game Changers.
Love that first season.
They've been filming. They're going to film season 2 or started filming season 2 already.
So glad you talked me into watching something that I wouldn't have watched.
And yeah, you were not impressed with
I wanted to watch it with Cash.
With me talking about it. At first, you're like, maybe I might check it out.
I wanted to watch it with the kids because I thought it would be kid-like. Now, he quickly lost interest.
Did he really?
I
couldn't even get Grady to watch it.
He watched maybe the first half of the season.
I thought he loved it.
He did. He did finish it.
Oh.
But he just didn't. It took him a lot longer than me.
Yeah. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
An adult can watch this kind of in the way you can enjoy Cobra Kai.
Well, I think there's some bad news coming your way.
Uh-oh.
So season 2 is going to happen.
Gordon Bombay died?
Gordon Bombay is not going to be in it. Emilio Estevez removed himself from the show over contract disputes.
Honestly, he wasn't looking great in that last season.
I still wanted him. I wanted him in this show.
He can still be calm. He'll still be in it.
No, he's done. He gave up. He put out a whole big statement. And a lot of people said, so he didn't get vaccinated, and then he got COVID really bad last year. and he's had that like long haul syndrome where it was affecting him late into last fall, even during some of the filming of the first season of it. And
Well, he looked sickly.
yeah, it was affecting him. Apparently, that's what he came out and said. And so, and he still hasn't been vaccinated apparently, and the show wanted him to, and there's been a lot of pushback here and there. And a lot of people thought he left because of that. And he put out a big statement and said no. He's like, if you are hearing any story about me leaving because of COVID or COVID effects or them of vaccination mandates and that, it is completely false. It's like it's a false narrative that's been created. That's not what it is. It's your old school contract dispute. We couldn't reach a contract that I agreed on and that they agreed on. He's like, and I stepped away because of that. He's like, I wish everybody luck. Like, I wish season 2 the best that it can be. Like, but I'm not going to be a part of it. So he did not sound like he wanted anything to do with it anymore.
That's a shame because I don't know if that show can hold up without him.
That's what I was going to say. I don't know.
I mean, he was not the star of the show.
No, I think Lauren Graham can pull it through.
Yeah, she's good. She's very good.
I like her a lot.
She's a Gilmore Girl.
She is the Gilmore Girl. She's the matriarch of the Gilmore Girls. And I watched all of the Gilmore Girls.
I'm sure everybody did.
Loved it.
I hated it.
I love Gilmore
The
Girls.
fast talking, I hated that.
Just that's the way they do it. Yeah. I'm into it. I'm into it a lot. That's her. That's the way she acts.
Craig says he's the Aaron Rodgers of Pee Wee hockey. Speaking of that should be some news. Aaron Rodgers went off.
Yeah. Yes. I watched a 47-minute interview with Aaron Rodgers talking about his.
I watched it too. It's amazing.
It's pretty good.
It's amazing because he says what we're all thinking.
He nails it.
He's a professional athlete, and he says he got his health advice from Joe Rogan.
Yeah. Now listen,
which is great.
I'm a half a vaccinated person, and you're a fully vaccinated.
I like
person.
that. I'm not criticizing that. Like I get health advice from Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
A lot of people do.
A lot of people have.
And Joe Rogan will sit there and say, I shouldn't be giving this advice, and I know that. So does Aaron Rodgers.
He's not telling you what you need to do. No. He's just telling everyone what he has done.
Yeah.
And how it's affected him, how it's worked for him. And then you, as an able-bodied person, is making the decision for themselves to do the same thing.
Right. And Aaron Rodgers called that out, and he's like, I did what he did, and I'm great. It's just a great story. And then I like, the whole thing with State Farm. They ended up not firing him.
Right. They didn't fire him. They're standing behind him.
It's a bellwether moment, I think, in this whole pandemic.
Right.
I don't even know why I did the air quotes. It's real. But it's a bellwether moment. And I think that's the tipping point was Southwest. And now everything's crumbling.
I agree with you. I think that was the tipping point where everybody kind of boycotted, or the pilots of the airline kind of boycotted. And from there on, you've started to see more and more people either become
I think a lot of people are going
outspoken about it.
Nothing's happening to them. Like they did that and nothing happened.
I know.
It's fine.
I really feel like we're going to have that moment here with the federal government soon and federal employees, because that's what I'm dealing with right now at work. Like, we have a hard deadline for people to either put forth an exemption for whatever reason and try to get that passed through, or get your vaccine before a certain date. And it's a problem in our district. I mean, the district that I work for the Corps of Engineers, has
District 9
thousands and thousands of employees, tens of thousands of employees, and a lot of people may just be leaving. They just leave. Yeah. We had a whole conference, like a conference call about it. It was they call it a town hall meeting, but at this big town hall meeting, and it was like open for question and answer, and there was a lot of people that chimed in that just said, like, I've had one guy who's like, I've had a 20-year career with the federal government right now, and like, are they just telling me that I have to leave basically if I don't follow their rules about this? Like, they've never forced me to get a vaccine before, and now I have to, and it's going to affect my entire family. So do I have to go home and tell my family I'm not going to go back to work and get something else? Like, he was that strongly opinionated about it, and a lot of people are. So you could see thousands of people just walk out of a job, and I think it's insane that that's where we're at. It's sad.
Well, come work for me. I have no vaccine requirements.
and you don't have over 100 people that work for you.
And we're
so
hiring.
It's perfect.
Always.
No, I'm not leaving.
Not you. I'm just telling the audience.
Oh, okay. That's fine. Yeah, Chris needs employees, so come work for him.
Yeah. What else you got for news?
That's really the only actual news article. I've also seen a trailer recently about a lovable character called Buzz Lightyear, but the movie itself is just called Lightyear.
Hate that guy. No, just kidding.
Man,
everybody loves Buzz Lightyear.
I don't. Have you seen this trailer?
I think I saw it. Yeah, I think it's been out for a while. I think
It was 2 weeks ago. I think it came out.
maybe
but
maybe I saw a
it.
teaser and now there's a new trailer.
There's a full trailer out.
Yeah, I don't think I saw that. I think I saw a teaser like a year ago.
Okay. Yeah. No, this is a full trailer. It comes out summer of 2022, and I am so into this. It is literally a story of a real guy that does like space stuff, and he fights space people, but he's part of like a space force almost. Like he's part of the space force, and I don't know if his actual name's Buzz Lightyear in the movie. I don't think it is. Like I think it's Buzz Lightyear is a character based off of a real man that's flying spaceships around, and
I'm so confused.
So Buzz Lightyear,
he's not a toy.
The toy is based off of this real guy that flies this spaceship, and has something happens in the movie where I think he like fights Zord, like the bad guy that Buzz Lightyear talks about.
Zurg.
Or Zerk, is that what it is?
Zurg.
So he goes and I think he has that experience and fights this thing, and then the story of him is what creates the toy.
Okay.
So it's literally based off of a real man, and you're going to see his life. And then the suit they reveal the Buzz Lightyear suit that he's going to have to wear on this one mission. It looks really cool.
So is Tim Allen in this movie?
I don't know if Tim Allen's voicing the guy or not.
I'm so confused, but I need to watch this trailer.
How are you confused? It's based off of a real person, and then
It's not based off... Stop saying that. It's not a real person
in
real life.
No, the character of Buzz Lightyear.
The movie is a take on Buzz Lightyear if he wasn't a toy.
It's a take on a guy who was a starfighter spaceship guy, in this world, that goes out and does something, and then they create a toy because of him.
Is this animated?
Yeah, that's animated.
I'll just have to watch it.
It's like if you were in the army and you did something, and then they made a G.I. Joe.
So what's the movie about?
Him and the fight that he does, whatever he goes and does.
So there's no point in which there's a talking toy.
Maybe at the end.
Okay. That's what I meant. That's what I said.
No, there's no toy.
Interesting.
The toy is based off of him. You're going to see the creation of the Buzz Lightyear toy.
What is the purpose of that?
What's the purpose of what?
That movie.
I don't know, but I'm in for it, man. I am so in for it. Big time.
All right, I'll check it out.
What's the purpose of any movie?
I don't know. It's just...
It's
very odd.
To cause enjoyment.
It's a very odd idea.
I think it's genius.
It's not a bad idea.
To give a backstory to a toy, because
Craig says Chris Evans is voicing Buzz.
There you go, Chris Evans. I didn't know that. That'll be good. I think his name's Buzz in real life, but they don't call him Buzz Lightyear. It's like...
It seems more apt to say this is the animated movie of which Buzz Lightyear the toy was based on in that universe. So it's like Inception.
No, it's the real life character.
It's not real life. Stop
The
saying
movie isn't, but I'm saying inside of the movie.
You're saying in the movie Toy Story, in the world in which Toy Story inhabits, there was a real guy who fought space aliens named Zurg.
Yes.
There's no possible way that's the story. Because the real story... No, come on.
Write it down, folks. You heard it here first.
No, it's probably like, okay, the real world in which... Or the fictional world in which the Toy Story movie inhabits. There was a TV show about Buzz Lightyear, and they made a toy based on that, which then was part of that universe.
No, it's about a person that is in the Space Force that has things happen, and then they create a toy from it.
Okay, all right.
Telling you.
Fair enough.
Sounds awesome. Looks awesome. I'm in for it. I'm going to watch it.
I have, where are we at on time?
Let's see. Let's go back. An hour and 14 minutes.
Okay.
Hour and 15 right now.
Because we're going to talk about what we're watching.
Sure.
I was just going to bring up what's kind of news, kind of what we're watching.
All right.
I've been like transfixed by this Kyle Rittenhouse trial.
Dude, I didn't know if you had been watching it or even cared about it, and I didn't really think I cared about it.
I didn't think I had any. I didn't even. I knew about it, obviously.
I did too. I'm not a political person.
I had any care about this until I started watching it. And
I know.
It does kind of suck you in. And I'm not the kind of person that like gets into trials. Like I remember the OJ trial going on. Obviously, I was a kid.
Yeah.
But I just don't get into trials. Like that, it's not something that interests me.
They need to have a moment like the OJ trial, though, where it's like trying on a glove, and it's like, if the glove don't fit, you must have quit.
Now, I do remember, even though I was a kid, that was the biggest thing in the world.
It was absolutely enormous.
It was everywhere all the time.
Yeah. And we've met Cato Kalin. We're boys with him.
Listen, I think we've done more than meet Cato Kalin. We're friends
best
with Cato
friends with him.
At least we were until Jerry self-flatulated.
He's forgotten about it by now.
He tried to arm wrestle him. He got
forceful.
Yeah, it was not a pretty sight.
Yelled at him a lot. I was trying to force him to arm wrestle me. I really was.
You were trying to pay him. You were like holding up stacks, mad stacks
of cash. I was like
These
literally
like little sticks over here.
It was just little sticks came up to my boy Cato, like, hey,
Wasn't mad stacks.
Take this money.
Like you work for me. Arm wrestle me.
Arm
now.
wrestle me, you bitch.
Cato Kalin, you bitch.
You bitch.
Avocado.
Avocado.
I got a signed copy that says avocado.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Him holding up an avocado. And since he's our boy, I got it for free.
Of course you did.
No, I didn't. We paid the money
of course.
for that.
Shh. Shut your mouth.
What was that having? Anyway, so I've been transfixed by this trial, and part of it is because it's entertaining.
It is very.
But the other part of it is because like I've kind of found myself getting more and more vested in the interest of this child.
I know, and I have never. I didn't pay attention to it to begin with.
It's kind of sickening now to see what's happened.
Oh my gosh!
Now that we've seen the trial and we see the results of the trial, we see that it's undisputably clear.
Yeah.
That this person was acting in self-defense. Does that mean that he should have even put himself in this situation? You can argue that all day long.
Yes,
but that's not a crime.
It's not a crime.
There is a crime that was committed, and that he, wasn't allowed to possess that gun.
Right.
So there is one crime that was committed, but you can't say, "Oh, he should have never been in that situation." 17 years old, you shouldn't be walking around with a gun doing this. Maybe those are all valid arguments, and those arguments can be had, but they are not crimes. So there's no reason that we have to have that argument in the public court of opinion.
And not in the court at all. No. I mean, if you want to have the private argument over that kind of stuff, whatever, but it should not be in the courtroom.
I mean, and I don't even know how I'd fall on that. I might agree. Don't be, I understand that you're going out there.
I completely agree that there was no reason he needed to go up there. It was a silly decision by a kid to go up there. But even that is not a crime. And he saw something that was going on that he thought wasn't right. At the time, all of that was considered peaceful protest and nothing happening.
There was so much swirling around in the ether at that time. It felt reasonable to be like, I'm going to go with a gun and stand around and protect things. Which, according to the trial, now obviously he's saying he didn't go with the intention of protecting things.
No.
He went with the gun. The intention was protecting himself. I find that a little hard to believe, but whatever.
Correct. You don't know the intention.
Again, not crimes.
But what I find interesting is that the other side of this is that people are saying, like, if you planned on going up there, then you put yourself in the situation to be harmed because of all the violence and everything going on, and people were rioting. But at the time, it was never called a riot. No. It was called a peaceful protest, and everything was fine. But now they want to call it.
Everybody knew what it was.
Everybody knows what it was. But I'm saying there was a side of people that said, this is a peaceful protest. Nobody needs to worry about it. It's okay of what they're doing. Like, it's not a big deal. But now they're saying people were rioting and causing damage. And there was a lot of things going on. Why would you ever? It's your fault that you put yourself in that situation. That's true. But why do you now think of it as riots? But at the time, it was okay for them to do.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
What's crazy to me is the amount of people. Okay, I get it. There's a lot of people supporting him. And there's some people that are like, it's hard to say, okay, you're going over the top in support of him. I get what the intention of that is. Like, you're being overly ridiculously on the right side.
Yeah.
But can you be over the top in supporting? I mean, it's pretty clear it was self-defense and he was a kid.
It shows.
Can
that
you
it was
be
self-defense.
over the top in your support of him? What I find odd is the over the top against him, the hate.
Yes,
That is
from
being-
the defense. Like from the defense, it's like he's just pulling at straws to try to show that he was this guy that had intention of killing people.
Oh, you mean from the prosecutor?
Or yeah. That's
I
what
just
meant,
mean from
the
other
prosecutor.
people, from people on the left that are like mad. They want a mistrial. They're talking about friggin' hanging him from the streets. You know, there's people vicious against this guy, and I'm like, what is your motivation to be so vicious against this guy?
I don't know.
I understand the motivation to support him, and I understand that there's a whole gun rights thing going on in the swirl. Okay, all of this is irrelevant to me, though. I think it's very clear that this should never have went to trial.
No, I don't think it should have at all.
I don't know what's going to happen if he gets convicted. I think he'll get convicted on something.
I don't know.
I just don't think he should be convicted of murder.
I think it might be considered a mistrial.
I don't think that'll fly. I think it'll get judged. He'll get some kind of.
The judge is really not happy with the whole
I
prosecution
know,
right
it's
now.
crazy, but I've also heard other clips after that where he listened to the explanation from the guy a little bit more, and he's like, "Well, maybe I would consider that."
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I do think it's funny too that there's so many people, like you said, the wild hate, that are just hating on this kid because he had a gun.
David doesn't like this topic.
All because he had a gun, right? But then the one guy that he shot in the arm also had a gun.
And pointed it at him.
It was pointing it at him. Nobody ever even speaks of that. Like, why does that guy have a gun? Why did he bring it there? Why is he walking around with a gun pointing it at people? It's the exact same offense. The only thing that was different is that one shot and one didn't.
Right.
You know, and that is the case. But again, it's kind of self-defense.
Self-flatulating. David says, I would rather rank Kenosha restaurants.
Never been to Kenosha.
Well, Bristol Renaissance Fair is in Kenosha, isn't it?
It's by Kenosha.
It's right there.
I've never been inside the city limits or by the in
I
the
don't
town.
think there's much.
No? Isn't there an air show up there? Is that in Kenosha or is that in
You mean, no, that's way further up.
Oh, is it?
Oshkosh?
Oshkosh, that's what I'm thinking of. Your dad used
Kenosha's
to
like
go up
right on the
there.
border.
Your dad and Gary would go up there
I went
too.
up there a couple times with him.
Did you?
Cash went once.
Is it fun?
Yeah, it's great.
Really?
Yeah.
You need to get your license. Pilot's license.
So much. I don't have
so
time.
that you can fly me around.
Okay. Well, you have a father-in-law that flies.
Yeah, well, and he'll have a plane. We could both potentially have planes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you do now still, right? You
No.
still have the Kit Fox?
No planes.
Why?
No planes. They're all gone.
I would have bought that Kit Fox.
I mean, I would have too, but
Oh,
it's gone.
dang it.
All right, so that's all I had. Sorry, we won't talk about Kyle Rittenhouse trial. I just think it's interesting. It's been entertaining to me.
It's
so.
very entertaining, and like I said, I didn't pay attention to this one bit, even after it happened. I was just like, whatever. I don't care. I don't get into politics that much, and I don't get into who's right and what's wrong, who's wrong. Whatever's going on is whatever's going on. But watching this trial, and again, I didn't even like seek it out. It just Nate was watching it the other day, and I happened to go to his computer and I saw it. The only thing that really caught my attention was the fact of the judge flipping out, and then after that, I was like, "Ooh, I need to watch this."
I'll tell you what, it kind of got me on down a little bit of a rabbit hole because I started watching some of that footage, and I was usually watching it on Facebook,
Yeah.
Facebook Live, whatever.
Oh, we had on YouTube. There was a big lawyer group, like a group of lawyers.
yeah. That they were talking about that in
So
the
that's
video I was watching.
That's what we were watching was that live stream.
And they're criticizing and stuff.
And just talking about like why they were doing certain things, why they didn't do certain things, and then they all started
It's kind of
talking
sad
about
that like this is devolved into entertainment. It's always sad when court cases turn into entertainment.
But it's been
entertaining,
forever. It's
yeah.
been forever. So I mean, since they've had
I mean, shit, they used to hang people, and like people would have a picnic.
yeah,
around them.
yeah.
Like that was administration of justice.
Right. You went out and watched justice happen. You know, people went to go see the guy die.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, people still do that a little bit at, what do they call those? In like lethal injections. Like you can
Yeah.
go and watch them.
That's crazy. Why would you want
It's
to
a little
watch
bit
that?
different though. It's like closure for families sometimes. And they're like, yeah, we want to see you end.
I am
It's dark.
I don't stand for a lot of things politically, but I'm very against the death penalty.
You are?
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
You know why?
Well, I would love to know why.
Really?
Absolutely, because I don't know why.
It's not a moral thing. It's not that I don't believe that people are evil enough that they'd be better off to be removed from the earth. I agree with that.
Uh-huh.
It's not because I have no moral objection to it. I'm not religious.
Yeah.
So it's none of those reasons that I oppose it. I don't have a problem, with any of that. My problem is that justice is so incorrect so often. All of these sentences are determined by people with motivations. Mm-hmm. And often they've been terrible motivations. Motivations for prosecutors. You know how many people get released off death row that were found innocent? A lot.
Really?
A disturbing amount of people.
On death row
get,
that are found innocent.
That are found innocent after the fact, sometimes 20, 30 years after the fact. It's disturbing how many people. You know how many people they found out after they've been killed through DNA evidence?
That were innocent?
A lot.
That's scary.
And if it's even one or two,
then it's a complete failure.
You've killed one innocent person, you got to scrap that system.
So I've never really thought about my stance on the death penalty before now, really. But the more I think of it, is it fair, even in like law and justice, to have that like part of justice to be able to choose like whether or not somebody lives or dies, regardless of what your acts are? Honestly, regardless of what you do, you are going to choose whether somebody can stay alive or die.
Well, but
isn't that really steep? I mean, and I know you could have murdered somebody. You could have done whatever.
It's not a person choosing that. I mean, it is.
It's a group of people choosing
symbolically, that. It's not. Symbolically, it's society choosing that because it's a representative government.
Yes.
So we've all agreed upon these set of rules that we're all going to play by. And this is one of the consequences of not playing by the rules.
I know, but then it's like, it's almost like the mob, where the mob's like, okay, we have these certain set of rules and you got to pay us back by this time. If you don't, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
And everybody would say, that's wrong. Like, that's not right. I would not do that. Or I don't agree with that. But as a society, we are telling people, and I know these are heinous crimes, bad crimes that are getting you on the death penalty or on death row. I still think it's crazy that we are literally choosing whether or not somebody lives or dies. Now, it's not necessarily any better being stuck in a jail cell for
the rest of your life. That's an argument for it, right? Is the cost of keeping these people incarcerated for decades and decades and decades when they should just be exterminated. But the problem is, and none of it matters because we have an imperfect judicial system and too many innocent people get convicted.
Yeah.
So you have to scrap the system.
What do you scrap it for?
You want to know what's interesting? This has nothing to do with that. It has something to do with that Kyle Rittenhouse trial. Sorry, David. You know the first guy he killed, the guy that lunged and grabbed his gun?
Yeah.
Do you know that guy had just gotten out of a mental hospital after just getting out of 15 years in prison for raping 3 little boys?
Yes, absolutely. I do know that. And then the other guy with a gun was a criminal as well that was in jail.
I mean, I don't know.
Had a felony against him.
That's crazy.
He was actually I may be wrong in this, but I'm pretty sure his felony charge that he was found guilty on prohibited him from having firearms, but yet he had.
No, he said he had a permit, but it was not valid, or it was expired.
Okay. Either way, it's messed up.
It is messed up because honestly, it's just one of those things. Okay, where this guy clearly shot this other guy in self-defense, and the guy he shot was vermin.
Yeah.
That most people, probably a majority, would say, get rid of that person.
Let's get rid of that person. Yeah, no, I get it. But it was under those circumstances.
Under those exact political circumstances. If this wasn't a political rally or if it wasn't politic-based, this wouldn't even be a thing. The kid would never went to trial.
Right.
He's trying to be made an example of.
Because he's a racist.
No, I think it's more about...
That's the whole thing.
Guns.
It was a Black Lives Matter rally.
I think that's part of it, but I think a lot of it is about guns and the right to defend yourself and all these things.
It is now, but at the time, it was like this white kid from
Yeah,
Illinois.
he's a white supremacist.
Came up here as a white supremacist to kill because he's a racist. And, I mean, obviously, the only people he shot were white.
No proof of that, so.
No, it was a whole thing that was created.
All right.
I don't know, stupid.
What we're watching. We'll do our review of Lock and Key.
Lock and Key Season 2. Were we going to do our restaurant review as well?
Oh, shit.
We've got 30 minutes.
We don't have enough time.
It's going to take you 30.
All right, we went on a Snarf Talk road trip.
We did.
Snarf Talk with special guests included.
Dude
and Krista and Amy
wives.
and Marley.
Yeah.
So we had gone to, and Jerry had been there previously with actually David and former podcast guest Tim
McDonald, yeah.
to the Lexington Social.
Yes. I had given a review, and I absolutely loved it the first time we went. And to be honest, this was a different experience than the first time, because the first time we ordered everything and just like had a big, giant tasting.
An orgy of foods.
An orgy of foods that went around the table, and we can taste everything. This one, we went with like getting a few appetizers that all of us shared. A lot of oysters.
We should have got more appetizers.
We should have. I agree. A lot of oysters, and then we each individually ordered, an entree, a meal. And to be honest, I thought it was absolutely wonderful. I wasn't too full. I know that's what you're going to have a gripe about that.
Yeah.
I was pleasantly full, but I didn't come out of there being stuffed, and I always have the problem of leaving restaurants feeling disgusting.
100% agree. It's actually a pet peeve of mine. It happens to me all the time.
Every single time I go somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm driving home, and I feel...
So portion sizes are out of control at almost every restaurant.
I feel terrible a lot of the time.
No doubt about that.
And I don't like that. And then it was brought up of people saying that they didn't have enough food. Or just there wasn't the quantity.
It wasn't
of
just
food.
me. I mean,
no, I know.
Marley said the same thing. I think a lot of people
said
said the same thing.
A lot of them did. And I think almost everyone.
Yeah.
And then... But I was of a different mindset. I was like, I started thinking about it, and I was like, I feel really good, actually. Like, I don't...
Well, that's the way you're supposed to eat, and it is actually, everything about that is the correct way to eat. It's just not what we're used to.
But we still had a lot of food.
We did.
It was just lighter food.
Yeah, it was all lighter food. I mean, anyway, continue.
All in all, I think it's absolutely wonderful. I love the fact that they put us upstairs in a room by ourselves.
I was going to say that was the highlight of my experience there.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. So somebody had asked me the next day, actually, what I thought, what my experience was. And I guess I don't want to review anything poorly because I want them to get all the business in the world because they're an interesting, small, local business in a rural community. And that's exactly what we need to be happening in this country. And they're doing it.
They are doing it.
And they're doing it well.
Yes.
So I would never deter anybody from going there. And I would recommend that you go there. I think my expectations were a little high. The food I thought was very good. Portion sizes were small, very limited selection. That's fine.
And they have a limited selection and a changing menu.
One thing that I didn't necessarily love about the limited menu was that there's 4 entrees and there's a chicken, fish, pasta, and
beef.
So, I mean, it's a pretty straightforward fare.
I agree.
It's nothing out on a limb.
Oh, no, not at all.
What I had was good, really good. I had a halibut.
I did too. I don't normally order fish at all, but that halibut.
It was good. I just didn't want to
delightful.
Throw out the big coin on the steak. It did look good. Dude got it. Looked great.
Yeah. To be honest, I thought it looked fine. I mean,
I'm not a fan of strip steak. That's the only steak option. I'm a fan of ribeyes. Strip steak
I
is
thought it
never
was a
my
ribeye.
go-to. No, it was a strip steak.
Oh, I guess I didn't.
They
know.
had a like a tomahawk or
They
something
did.
special. They were out. It was like $120.
Yep.
I probably would
huge.
have gotten that.
I think I would have too
It was like a 44-ounce ribeye.
when he
or
was
something.
telling us about it. I was like, "Oh man, I want that." And then he's like, "We're out of it though." So it's like we sold out of that right away.
They were
tonight.
out of a lot.
Well, and I like the fact that they have these specials that you can come and order, but it's limited. I like the fact that it's limited
I love
because
it.
it makes it feel more special
And unique every time you go.
Yes.
I love the fact that it's like, okay, I'm not like most people. I enjoy when they're like, you know what, we're out of that. We're out of that. We're out of that. Because it forces you to get something. Then it throws you off your game and you're like, oh, okay, give me that. And then you get something that you maybe wouldn't have expected to choose. And then you end up enjoying it, and it makes your experience completely different.
Yeah.
So I do like that. Or you go back to the same place, you get the same thing over and over again. So anyway, my point is, would I say, oh, go out of your way to go here multiple times? I don't know if I could say that.
Not multiple times. I will say that I think everyone should go there and experience it.
I would go back. I would. It's a ways. The only reason I'm saying that is it's just a long drive.
If you're in the area, yeah. Yes.
But I did enjoy it. You know, I think it's interesting for all those reasons. I don't think it's, but like, I don't think it blows like, you know, that we have a lot of restaurant options in like the suburbs and in the city.
So the experience I had the first time, it was also much different because we stood around that little bar that was down there. We were standing at that bar for probably 45 minutes prior to our reservations and had almost we built a relationship with the bartender there, and he was like making specific little drinks for us. We were talking about all like the craft beer that they get. I believe they get it from Emancipation Brewing. And I don't know, it was just very interesting, that dynamic between us and like learning all these drinks, getting different things made for us. And then from there we got seated, and it just so happened they were like short on staff, and the bartender ended up being our waiter. And then we ended up ordering everything. The owner came out, and we had a huge conversation with the owner. I specifically told him I would talk about him on the podcast that night. And so we talked to the owner. He was telling us about everything, appreciated that we literally bought everything on the menu. And then, I don't know, we just had it was a very different experience that night.
I felt, even when we went, I felt like this was a very enjoyable place to go with a group, very good for having a social dinner.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like a lot of dinners end up being like, I don't want to say work, but you're not, this place you really can kind of kick back, relax, enjoy the company of others. It really has a good vibe in that way.
It's not big. It's not overcrowded.
You're not thinking about your phone. You're not thinking about work. Like you're in a social environment with a group of friends you like, and you can really enjoy yourself.
And it's it's like relaxing to go.
So I did appreciate that. I was very disappointed they didn't have the cocktail menu.
I know,
because that's what I was most looking forward to, was having like an old fashioned or a Manhattan. I love Manhattan.
That was my biggest disappointment, is that the bartender that I was just talking about, I don't know if they have multiple or just one, they didn't have one there that could create drinks apparently. Yeah. And there was no cocktail menu, so you could order beer or wine. Yeah. And that was it. And yeah, that was disappointing.
It was disappointing. It was moderately expensive. No more expensive than going to like Chop Shop and Morris, or like any medium tier higher end restaurant.
I mean,
I was actually surprised how reasonable it was.
It's very reasonable.
Because we ordered a lot of food. We all had desserts.
Yes.
We had multiple appetizers. We had 24 oysters that were like $40 a piece. We had like 3 bottles of wine. We all had beer on top of that. I thought it ended up being pretty reasonable. It was under $200 a piece.
Oh yeah, it was
per
couple. Like $160 or something per couple.
Yeah,
and which is crazy to me because my dad and I went. Grady is doing a hitting clinic in Dwight on Monday nights, and all the boys, like Amy wasn't going to be home in time, so I had to take all the boys with me. And then I called my dad and I asked him if he wanted to go to like an early dinner because all the boys wanted to eat before. So we went to Route 66, and that was like $75 for our meal. $75 for a diner.
For just you two?
No, and the 3 boys.
Well, right. Okay, so that's 5 people.
I understand, 5 people, but even so, like,
right.
I still think that's really expensive for dinner.
All restaurants are expensive. It's ridiculous. I can't stand it. But go to Chili's. That would have been $150.
It would have been.
You know, that's what the thing is. So, like, anyway, that's off the point. I enjoyed the place. I think it's worth going to. I think it's worth checking out for sure at least once to see if you're into it. I will say the portion sizes were a little disappointing. No cocktails was a little disappointing. But the atmosphere is fantastic.
Yeah.
And I love that they're doing this something completely different in this small town environment.
And another thing I love is the fact that, so you went there this time. The next time, if we were to go again, the menu's going to be different.
Yeah.
Everything, it changes.
Well, what I would
always
say
changing.
is I would order a lot more appetizers.
Yeah, because they are wonderful.
They're really good, and the entrees are so small. Here's what I would honestly do. I would go there, drink wine, order all the appetizers, or times 2 all the appetizers, and then maybe split an entree with your spouse, and then be good.
Yeah, I think that would be wonderful.
If you ordered that whole appetizer menu, I think that would have been. We ordered like 4,
three
but
different things.
2 of the oysters.
Yeah, 2 of the oysters.
And there was like
carrots.
eight things on the menu. I wasn't super impressed by the carrots.
You weren't? I thought they were wonderful.
They're great.
They're wonderful.
They were good. The sauce I liked.
You need to get more of it, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. You need more.
We needed like 6 of those carrots.
Right.
Like
the shrimp I thought were incredible.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the shrimp.
Those shrimp were like Cajun
Very
shrimp.
good.
They were really good.
Head on.
Yes.
Head on shrimp. They were really, really good.
Yeah.
Enjoyed it.
So
So
the oysters were good. I mean, I didn't think they were anything like amazing.
it's the only oysters that I've liked.
They were very fresh. Very
Yeah,
fresh. A lot of salt water in them. They're straight
Fresh
shucked right there.
The day before, he literally put them down. He said they were literally caught off of the coast of Massachusetts yesterday, and you're eating them today. It's the freshest we're going to get in our area, no matter what.
Well, not in Chicago. You'll get fresh that day in Chicago. They're flown in.
I mean, I'm not going to Chicago.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm saying like our area. I consider that like our area because it takes like 45 minutes to get there.
Right.
I loved it.
I thought it was great. Definitely Snarf recommends.
Snarf
Lexington
definitely
Social.
recommends. Yes. Go for it. Okay, now we can get into what we are watching. We have 19 minutes. Christopher,
Okay.
do you have multiple?
Yeah.
Okay. I literally have nothing. I watched Survivor.
Okay. Well, I'll do
and
mine
that's
really
it.
quick, and then we'll talk about Lock and Key.
Okay.
Let's talk about Lock and Key first. Lock
want
and
to?
Key.
Okay.
We don't have to even spend that much time on it. Season 2 came out. We've both watched it.
We did.
We talked about season 1 a lot. It's been a while, a couple of years.
Yeah, it was 2019.
We both enjoyed it. Obviously it's based on a comic by Joe Hill. That's Stephen King's son. It's one of both of our top comics.
Yeah, favorites.
Graphic novels. It's not really a comic, issue to issue comic. They're trade paperback.
Yeah, they're big. Well worth the read.
Definitely.
Well worth looking at. I mean, they're beautiful to look at.
Very, very, very like R-rated.
Yeah.
The comic. The book is a little more, I would say,
The movie?
teen oriented.
The TV show.
Or the
you mean?
TV show.
Yeah.
Is a little more like late teen adult oriented.
Mm-hmm.
With a little,
I don't know if I'd call it YA.
No,
I think it's still more adult than that.
Yeah, because it is. There is some violence and stuff in there. Yeah, I would say it's more for like teenagers and up.
Yeah.
Maybe similar to Stranger Things.
Agreed.
But I enjoyed it, and I went on record and said I think I enjoyed the show better than the comic, and I love the comic.
I would have called you crazy in season 1, but now after finishing season 2, yeah, I couldn't stop watching season 2.
Yeah, I thought season 2 improved on a lot of the issues I had with season 1. I did have issues with season 1. We talked about them at length.
Yep.
Season 2, I think, improved on almost all of those issues. It's a much better season.
It brings you into the story right away, and it never lets go
No, it keeps going, and
the whole time.
And it doesn't pay a lot of attention, as much attention to the innocuous stuff you don't really care about.
No, like the house, or the fact that they had to move to this old house, and the mom's issues, and this kind of
Just
stuff.
like
They just
interpersonal relationships.
Yeah,
Less of that.
You don't have to worry about any of that stuff, and it just dives right into like the meat and potatoes of the story and the keys and the creation of keys and what all of these keys are doing.
A lot of
and
flashback scenes, which are my favorite.
I loved this season so much.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched the first episode and I was like, oh, I gotta watch another. And it was already like 10 o'clock at night, and I ended up watching it until like 2 a.m. The very first late it was. I was like, oh my gosh, this is not good. So I put it down for a little bit, obviously to go to sleep and go to work. And then the next night, boom, right back into it. And I think I finished it in 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, and Marley loved it as well. So if you don't trust us, or we're too geeky,
Yeah.
she loved it.
Trust Marley.
Yeah.
I think I told Amy this too. She was watching some of it with me and just like glancing over it. And she's like, wow, that looks interesting. I told her, I was like, I really think you would love this show.
Very general appeal. There's something for everybody in this show. It's not like a nerdy thing.
No,
it's not a comic-y thing.
It can be so interesting because it's a different premise.
It can be like,
Wow. That was loud.
Was that your phone?
Yeah, it's on my computer because of messages. I don't know if that would be recorded or not.
I just realized I forgot to change my fantasy football roster.
Oh well.
Screw.
You'll lose.
So Lock and Key, I loved it.
Yes, I loved it as well. I think everybody should go and watch it. If you've never seen season 1, go back and watch season 1. It's on Netflix, and then binge season 2.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not jumping off a bridge. I'm not putting it on a top 10 list, but it's a fine show to watch.
Right. It's funny you say that because I did love season 2 so much, but I honestly didn't feel like it was that long ago that we watched season 1. But then I thought about it. I was like, oh, man, that was like in 2019. We hadn't seen that in 2 years. Didn't feel like that. I wasn't like waiting for it or, like hoping for it to play again or like I didn't even know it was gone for the longest time. And then I literally just stumbled upon season 2 on Netflix. I just happened to get on Netflix and it was released that day. And I was like, I remember this show. I liked it. Let's watch it again.
I know, it really snuck out of nowhere.
And I like just played it and started it. And I was like, man, I love this. I love everything about it. But yeah, it's nothing that I would like put on any top 10s, but it's so good.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird.
Another show I will talk about came back, and that is Yellowstone had its premiere.
Oh, yes.
Season 2 or 4?
4. Yeah.
Season 4.
Yes.
Watched the first 2 episodes. I don't know if they dropped at the same time or I missed a
They
week.
must have. It's only been on one Sunday.
Okay. So I've watched it all. Jerry watched it all?
No, I've only seen the first 4 episodes of season 1, and we haven't continued yet. Loved it, the first 4 episodes. Amy and I haven't continued watching it.
This show lit the world on fire over the last couple of years. People love it. I hear about it all the time. People ask us to review it. For years, more than a year, people have been asking us to watch it and review it. And we neither of us did. Finally, I sat down, and me and Marley both got in together, and we watched through the first 3 seasons, binged through it. And I said at the time, I said, I'm not a huge fan of the show. I enjoy it.
Yeah, you didn't necessarily say you weren't a huge fan. You had said that it was just kind of...
It's very soap opera-y.
Yes.
Over the top. I said I watched it because it's like a soap opera. It's like an addiction to watch. It doesn't mean it's good. It's not
you got to
good.
watch your soaps.
It's not good, but you have to keep watching it because you need to see what happens. I will say, I thought this season started out real strong.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's completely made me way more interested. Now, there was a huge cliffhanger at the end of season 3. The most ridiculous things that have ever happened in television history. I mean, it's absolutely stupid.
What?
Like how...
The most ridiculous thing that's happened in television history.
It is so over the top soap opera that you're like, wow, how are we doing this?
Yeah. Why are we here?
This is how crazy
What's going on? Who am I?
And, it's just picking up from that point, that huge cliffhanger. Yeah, obviously you're seeing what happens, but they're bringing out other story elements that I think... I was super confused. I had, like, no memory of any of these plot. It dives right in, and it's, like, resolving all these plots that it left at a cliffhanger last season. Okay. And I didn't remember any of them. Me and Marley are sitting there talking to each other, like, what the fuck are they talking about? Like, what is that? Who is that guy? What was that? What was happening? Because that's how the show is. There's so many things happening.
Really?
That's so ridiculous. Like, there's people dying, like, in every episode. And it's about a ranch.
Yeah, that's silly.
It is silly. It's silly. But I will say, as not a huge fan of the show, the beginning of this next season
comes out strong.
It's got me interested.
Okay. Did anybody die?
I'm sure.
You're like, 6 people died.
Oh, yeah.
First episode.
No, in the first episode. Yeah, people die. People die every episode.
Every single episode, death. Yeah. It's because they're a mob. It's a mafia.
It's
a ranch mafia where...
No, they're considered like... So that's one interesting aspect of the show. There's various points throughout the first 3 seasons when you're like, are these guys the good guys?
Right.
Or are they the bad guys?
Yeah.
But, like, it's clear that they want you to think they're the good guys. Like,
now.
They
They want you to think they're the good guys. But are they really? Hitler wanted you to think he was
No,
a good
no,
guy
no,
too.
no. It's clear
Chris.
that what the writer's intention is.
Okay. So
It's
you
not
say.
it's not a story dupe by any means. No, they've made these people the good guys and the others the bad.
Dupe. That's kind of a funny word.
Dupe.
Who says that?
I have one more show that I've watched way more of.
All right.
And I think I briefly mentioned it last.
Better not be The Walking Dead.
No, I forgot about that. I need to catch up on that.
Yeah.
It's a show I discovered on Hulu. It's a YouTube original show on Hulu, and it's called Champagne Ill, or Champagne ILL.
Oh, yes. Okay, I remember this now. ILL, I.
Yes, and it is real good.
Is it really?
I like it a lot. It's a comedy.
It's a failed rapper.
No, it is these. It starts out. These guys are graduating college in Champaign, Illinois, from the University of Illinois, and all three of them are like talking about their dreams.
And the guy dies.
No, and the one guy is like, I'm going off to be a rapper, and these two other guys, his best friends, like put their lives on hold to go be part of his entourage.
But the rapper guy dies.
Yeah, but the guy gets super famous, like Kanye famous, and then dies.
But he dies.
Yes. And these two people have to go back and move home with their parents in Champaign, Illinois.
Uh-huh.
And they have to pick up the pieces, start over, realizing that they spent the last 15 years, they're nobody. They have nothing.
Yeah.
They were slumming, or, slothing.
Slumdog Millionaires.
Slothing. What's the word? Scrouching.
Sloughing.
No, what is the word?
I don't even know what you're trying to say. They were what?
When you
Sucking
mooching.
off of mooching.
They're mooching off this dude. They don't have no real skills.
That's a hard one to figure out.
And they're joining back in the real world. I'm gonna say, I think it's very funny.
Okay. Oh, it's a comedy.
It is a comedy, yeah, and it's got a guy. The guy
Is it a dramedy?
No, it's a comedy.
There's no drama.
Not much. No, it's a pretty straight comedy.
A man dies, Chris.
A man dies. If you ever saw the show Happy Endings, which I also really like that show,
I haven't.
one of the guys, you've seen the one guy before, the white guy. He's been in other stuff.
We have to call him out by color? Is that what
I'm
we
just
do now?
Trying to be descriptive.
Okay.
The acting is great. So these two guys, that guy is phenomenal, and the other guy, the not white guy,
Okay.
is really funny. Like, so expressive with his facial features that I'm like, how do you even act like
How do you
this?
even do this physically?
How do you act this way?
His face is probably sore by the end of it.
I really enjoy it, this show. It's really, really good.
It sounds good. So it's following those two people trying to like
Pick up the pieces
pick
of
up
their
the
lives.
pieces. So is it like different shenanigans that they go on to try to like get jobs or
Yeah, like to get back famous or...
to get famous again? That's what it's about.
Yeah, of course, that's all about. Getting famous, trying to figure out their place in the world.
Like us.
It's not a dramedy. It doesn't have a lot of drama. It's a comedy.
Oh, all right. That's good. I like that better. I don't want anything super heartfelt.
Yeah, it's pretty hollow. It's pretty hollow.
It's a very hollow show that's
Shell
just
of an existence.
funny.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Champagne Ill on Hulu.
It is ILL.
It is ILL because the rapper's friend of theirs' name was Ill, I believe. It's all set in Illinois, but they say Illinois references a lot,
Okay.
but there's no like Illinois is not a character.
Oh.
Like,
Can you tell, is it filmed in Champaign?
I don't think so. I've seen nothing. Most of it's indoors.
That's sad.
It's a low budget production, I think. Like it's high budget enough to have a real cast and good writers, obviously. But I think it's a YouTube show.
Yeah.
It's not a YouTube show. It's a YouTube studio production.
It should have been shot on location in the quad.
It was not. It's definitely not. They don't even reference Champagne other than the title very infrequently. But they reference Chicago nonstop. They're in Chicago most of the time.
But that's kind of silly.
It is silly.
I mean, look at the title of your show. And you don't have any references to the city or the town that you grew up in or were around. And then you only
odd.
talk about Chicago?
It's odd.
That's stupid.
It is.
Now I hate that show. I hate it.
Well, you should check it out. Champagne Ill.
Ugh, makes me ill
Yellowstone.
thinking of it.
Lock and Key.
These idiots.
That's all I got.
I'm also done with what I have.
All right. So what we need you to do is like and share this podcast immediately.
Immediately right now. Yes, you should have done that already.
And subscribe to the podcast on Spotify and Apple and all those fun places. Listen to the audio version. Go to patreon.com/snarftalk. Maybe consider a $1, $5 a month donation, something.
Maybe even 50.
Maybe 50.
Maybe a one-time gift of
$1 million.
$1,000.
Go to youtube.com/snarftalk. Hit subscribe. And check us out on all the social medias at Snarf Talk. That's all we got for Snarf Talk this week.
Well, wait. I want to remind people, you need to tell us who we need to have on the show.
Oh, yeah. And go to our website, snarftalk.com.
Yes.
But yes, we are beginning to build for our Christmas Spectacular 150th episode. So you need to tell us, as a listener, of our regular guests, who you vote to be on the episode with us.
Even if it's not necessarily regular, but somebody that you...
Anybody that's been on the podcast, not in a telephone or interview setting.
I mean, I would have people that have never been on the podcast before on the podcast, but in the area.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
That's an option, too. You can't vote for yourself.
Can't vote for yourself.
Regular guests of the podcast, though, have been traditionally Dude, Alex, Tim, Craig, my sister. Who else has been on the podcast? David Timmons.
Yeah, Timmons was on.
We've had other people, right?
I don't think
Greg.
so.
Howdy.
Was Howdy? Yeah, Howdy was on one.
We've done a lot of these. We've done a lot of podcasts.
Yeah, we almost 150.
So those have been our regular guests or regular contributors. Anybody? Dirk said something earlier. He said, I'll be done by harvest by then. So,
but you can't vote for yourself.
So we're going to play games. We're going to have a white elephant gift exchange. We might drink some eggnog tasting.
Eggnog tasting. You talked about that, actually.
I did. We're going to roll that bitch right in.
We're going to roll that bitch right in.
Roll that bitch. Sweet.
Sweet. Go ahead.
Sweet.
So we're going to roll that in.
You know what my personal Christmas wish is for this Christmas and for our 150th episode?
I'd love to know.
David Seedentop. If we get David Seedentop on...
I completely agree.
He can make different kinds of eggnogs for us to taste test.
And you can vote for yourself, David. You're the only guy.
David is allowed to vote for himself. And every vote that David votes for himself, he gets 5 votes.
He gets 5. Yeah, David, you could make different eggnog drinks for us on the show.
We can review them live.
For us to taste.
How about David and Tim? That'd be a combination.
That'd be a heck of a combination.
They're
brother-in-laws.
Not, though.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
Why aren't they?
They're brother-in-laws.
No. They're double brother-in-laws.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brother-in-law-in-laws. Okay, now I see what you mean. Yeah.
We had this conversation before.
I don't remember it, so it must have been a good one.
So that's all we got.
Yes.
For Snarf Talk this week, I've been waiting a second because I need to get ready to push this button.
Oh.
For Snarf Talk this week, I've been Chris.
I am Jerry.
See ya.
Bye.